Welcome! It's the Interracial Couple. It's the first episode.
Holy crap,
this
I'm
is
excited.
exciting.
Yeah.
I'm Dee.
I'm Alan Cardan.
Ooh. And we're just going to kind of go through some news articles and weigh in on them.
Let's do that.
So let's hit it and forget it here. All right, so the first thing we have is the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving episode aired, which we've been watching for our whole lives.
Yeah.
And people are mad. They're like, it's racist because Franklin is on one side of the table in a dilapidated lawn chair, and everybody else is on the other side of the table. And so Twitter was all aflutter, as it happens. And half the time I'm like, what are you talking about, Twitter? As is this case. Because Schultz had to argue to get Franklin in the comic anyway. And secondly, is it really racist, though?
All right, so in my opinion, I'm going to say I don't think so, but... All right, so just giving it a different perspective, right? Just looking at it from a different angle.
All right.
You know, he's on one side of the table. He's in a lawn chair. Lawn chairs are incredibly player. I've always felt like a player when I was in a lawn chair.
Yeah.
And he's all by himself, kind of bossed up. Everybody else is kind of looking at him like, you know, what's next? And he's looking over at Charlie Brown like, shut up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, I mean, I think it's a matter of perspective. I don't think it's a super racist thing, but I also understand how, you know, since it's one of those microaggressions.
Sure. Was it really, though? Like...
Nah, man, if you're looking for something, you're going to go find it. That's why you don't
Amen.
go through people's phones and shit like that. Like,
Amen.
If you're looking that hard for like, oh my God, you like touched me in the car. Well, yeah, you're going to have fights with your siblings.
You touched me just now.
Straight up, you're going to have fights. So, I mean, I don't know, some of that shit you just got to kind of let go.
Yeah.
Or you got to put another person in a lawn chair.
There is that. Well, and the other thing that irritates me about that is there are plenty of things out there that are racist that we have to battle and take on head on. And when we're focusing attention on Franklin being on one side of the table all by himself, it's taking away from our message that's more important on other shit.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, like, I think that goes without saying, but nothing actually goes without saying, which is why things like that are important.
Amen.
Right. So, yeah.
All right. Next up on the list, Dark Horse Brewery in Michigan. There was an incident with a dishwasher who was out hunting.
Dishwasher.
Dude, yes.
Oh, my
God. Well, I should say former dishwasher.
Yeah.
So he was on Snapchat hunting with his buddy, posted a picture. Terrible, slang in it.
Hunting coon inwarders.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And he was trying to justify it, which you can't.
Look, I can actually say that word, and I didn't. Right?
Good point.
Right, but, you know what I'm saying? Nonetheless.
So they fired him.
Yeah.
His ass got canned as soon as they figured out he worked for them.
Shit canned quick. Like, you gotta go, buddy. I can dig. Okay, so from the business perspective, this is my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
From the business perspective, sure, he's got to get fired or whatever, right? Because that's a terrible look.
Right.
I get that. But come on, man, this is a fucking dishwasher.
Right.
I expect the dishwasher to be... All right, look, man, this is somebody who apparently probably doesn't have, like, the highest education.
Sure. And he was very young, too, so stupid.
I feel shitty making assumptions about this kid, but I'm going to make some assumptions about this kid, right? So I'm going to go lower education, Upper Michigan, wherever?
Right.
Come on, man, working at a brewery as a dishwasher.
And then you're making generalizations.
Yo, this is real terrible, but I mean, come on, you're hunting coon inwarders.
Right.
Come on, cuz. Stop it. So, look, so as it goes, right, like, that's bad. That's bad. That kind of overt racism and that kind of overt ignorance is bad. But it's not as bad as the kind of racism that went on at Thanksgiving. Holy shit. Things went on at Thanksgiving that were just terrible, and nobody will talk about them. Awful shit was said.
What was said?
Who knows? That's the thing that worries me, because I don't know what these freaking judges and these people are actually talking about behind the world. It's the toxicity of racism that that is the deterrent from letting people's racism now be known.
Right.
Which is not cool.
Part of me, I like when I know that somebody's racist, like overtly, because then it's like I don't have to bother getting to know you or whatever, right? Because
come on, man, just
I
checking
be
it
around
out.
you.
Like, oh, okay, that's cool. You're terrible.
Right.
Peace out.
It's like the Hells Angels that were ringing the Salvation Army bell. Like, okay, so you're wearing white pride stuff. Don't gotta get to know you or donate to your cause.
Turns out the Salvation Army isn't all that great from...
I know.
I mean, hey, sometimes you gotta get like your friends. I don't know.
All right, up next on the list. So there was the Senate race runoff in Mississippi, and they found 7 nooses hanging out around the Capitol, along with signage that went with it, like this is a reminder of times haven't changed, and yada, yada, yada. And immediately on the comment sections of the news stories is, it's the left doing it. They're trying to set us up. And I was like, I hope it's not. If we find out it was like a hardcore lefty, I'm going to be so pissed. But it's Mississippi. I'm doubting it was a hardcore lefty. I'm assuming it was someone who honestly believes the signs they were posting.
All right, so I got to keep it 1,000, right?
Yes.
When I very first saw the signs, when I took in the understanding, the South hasn't changed, it sounded to me like that was somebody that was coming from the left.
Oh, dude. Say it ain't so.
Straight up. Straight up, like somebody just being like, yo, this place is fucking terrible. This lady's talking about lynching people.
Right.
This is what this place is all about. It's 38% black in Mississippi still.
Yeah.
So, which is dope, but not really, because they have an incredible disparity between.
Oh yeah.
You know, their classes. It's 2 different worlds. So I don't know. I think it was.
Oh, dun dun dun!
Know, right?
It's a conspiracy. We'll find out.
I'm
or
excited.
we won't.
I'm excited to hear about it.
Well, it seems like, you know, a lot of those things, whatever. We've had the graffiti on.
I feel like we should angle this down a bit. Like,
what do you want to do with it?
yeah, there we go. I think that. But now I feel like I'm going to be stuck holding this.
You kind of are now.
I don't want to do that. Okay.
All right, so up next we have, the mall shooting. That sucked.
That did suck.
Good guy with the gun.
On Thanksgiving. I don't think we should have guns. I'm not a big fan of guns.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
It's a big statement in which
I'm not with the shits.
Well, I see. I
look,
feel like,
we've got a fix.
Look, it's a savior. Oh, so close.
Almost.
When I first heard about the shooting, because the initial report was they got the shooter. And then it was like, whoops, not really. We got the good guy with a gun.
There you go.
And
with
that's
the finger. It's okay, though.
It's a nice finger.
Good? Better? Yeah, I feel like it.
You like that better?
I feel like that's going to fall a little bit, but whatever. No, we're good. We're good. That works just fine right there. Oh, yeah, we're at Knuckleheads, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Knuckleheads.
Yeah, Knuckleheads in Madison on State Street. They are the gracious hosts of our podcast, so
Love
that's
it.
dope. Yeah.
But when I first heard it, so it was like they got the shooter, and then it wasn't. It was the good guy with the gun, which has happened before. The security guard in Ohio was the good guy with the gun who got shot by the cops.
Yeah.
And Philando Castile in Minnesota, the good guy with the gun who got shot by the cops. So I'm starting to feel like this whole narrative of, well, if we want to get away from the bad guys with guns, we need good guys with guns. It's kind of blowing up in their face.
I mean, didn't we know that wasn't going to work?
Wow.
Because common sense tells you that if you want less deaths from guns, then adding guns isn't going to help. They should have released the body cam footage.
Right.
They haven't, and they won't.
They won't.
Because I think that there will be some really incredibly incriminating shit.
Sure. Well, and what gets me is like, so the defenders of, whenever there's a shooting, there's always like the same group of people that automatically defend the police, and then there's the same group of people that automatically defend the offender, right? And I feel like this whole narrative of, well, the cops couldn't hear, in Ohio they were like, they couldn't hear the people shouting that he was a security guard, don't shoot, because your auditory processing diminishes when you're in the heat of the moment like that and you're shooting your weapon at somebody. But what about the security guard? He's having the same problem. He ain't hearing everything either.
Man.
So that's your excuse to shoot him? Shoot first, ask questions later? Is that where we're at?
They've had these protests, and people get pissed off at protests, but that's the entire point.
We wouldn't
Right.
have a country if we didn't have
Right.
protests. That's
Like,
kind of how it all started.
Revolution is important. Right.
All
What's
right.
next?
Let's do the wrap on Cannabis Corner. What you got for Cannabis Corner?
Okay, so Madison Normal is putting on a comedy show. A couple of them, actually. We're going to do a monthly showcase.
Nice.
And that's going to be at
Whiskey Jack's.
Whiskey Jack's.
Ooh, I love that joint.
Yeah, so that's going to be dope. Be on the lookout for that. And we're also going to be doing a weekly open mic. I think the name, there was voting on the name or something. I think it's going to be Hits and Giggles.
I like it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, the Hits and Giggles
Very
comedy
cool.
show. The open mic's going to be weekly Sunday nights at the Chiba Hut. Stay tuned for when.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Very cool.
that'll be dope. Next week, I'm going to be meeting, I am actually the communications director for Madison Normal. Been a board member for about 3 months now. Really digging it. Going to be meeting with Melissa Sargent.
Okay.
She was reelected to the assembly.
Yeah.
So congratulations to her and her bid for that. And we're going to be engaging with her next week in regards to consulting on the upcoming legislation in the next session. So really excited about
Important
that.
stuff. So should people find you on the socials and stuff, man?
You can find us on Facebook. We've got a Madison Slack channel too, a
Okay.
Madison Normal Slack channel, which you can get the information through madisonnormal.org. Yeah, dope.
First episode of Interracial Couple. What?
Yeah, later.